students, I just want to give you a little bit of information on a topic you are probably very interested in, and that is public speaking anxiety. How many of you are either a little nervous or very nervous when it comes to giving a speech? Probably most of you. In fact, most people are nervous just at the thought of giving a speech. And so if you aren't, you're just weird. So for the rest of you who are a little nervous, congratulations, you're normal, and we're going to talk about how we can control some of those nerves while we're giving a speech. But first we want to look at why do we get nervous, and then we'll look at how to control. So what happens to our bodies when we are faced with the prospect of giving a speech? For some reason in our society, public speaking is not a common activity, and it's kind of deemed as scary. And so when we think we're going to have to go give a speech, we start reacting, and some of that reaction is not fun to experience. So we basically are putting ourselves in a situation that we're not comfortable in. Not many people are comfortable in the public speaking spotlight. And when we do that, our body recognizes that we're in a situation that we're not comfortable in, and it tries to help us out. And what it does is it pumps a boatload of adrenaline through our system, because it wants us to either fly away from the situation or stay and fight the situation. Fight or flight syndrome. You've probably heard of this. Well, in this instance, with public speaking, we don't want you to fight, and we certainly don't want you to fly away. And so how do you combat this rush of adrenaline in your system? What does the adrenaline rush feel like? Well, you probably have experienced some of this before. It may be butterflies in your stomach. It may be shaky hands, a shaky voice. It may be sweaty hands. It could be just nervous energy where you're kind of rocking back and forth, popping your knuckles, messing with your hair. Lots of symptoms that we get from nervousness. And so what do we do to control it? The first thing that we want to do is think of the big picture. Okay, we're getting up in front of an audience for 5 minutes. This is not going to be a defining moment in our lives. Let's think big picture. 10 years from now, is this speech that you give really going to change your life? Most likely not. And so think big picture. We definitely want you to do the best you can on this speech and progress and get better each time, but don't put so much pressure on yourself that you think you have to be perfect. We're human. We're not going to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. Don't put the burden of perfection on yourself. We want to move towards perfection. We definitely want to get better and improve and polish and get smooth and fluid in our speech, but don't expect perfection. It's okay to mess up. I mess up all the time. I've been teaching speech for years. I've been doing competitive speaking. It's okay to mess up. Everybody does it. No big deal. Next, you want to make sure that you calm down physically. Breathe. Make sure that you're taking deep breaths. This may seem very simple, but it actually helps. So calm yourself down by taking deep breaths. Also, you want to maybe get the nervous energy out before your speech. And so if you do have a tendency to sway back and forth or move around, then maybe you pace up and down the hallway right before you give your speech. That could help. Or maybe you do some things stretching or something before you come into the room where you're going to give your speech. Obviously you don't want to do that in front of your audience, but you get the idea. I might do some physical pacing or stretching or something like that to get the extra energy out. The best thing you can do to calm yourself down and to control the nerves, though, is to prepare. For some reason, this doesn't seem like a magical potion to students, but it really does help. When you are prepared, you know the information. People often are concerned, well, what if I forget? What if I forget my speech? I'm up there. Well, remember, you have speaker notes with you, and those speaker notes will be helpful when you forget your information. All you do is you pause, you look down at your speaker notes, you get back on track, take a deep breath, and then you go forward. And so don't worry about losing your place. Prepare. The more you prepare, the less likely you'll forget the information, and the more likely you'll be able to control your nerves because you know where the speech is going and you know what's coming. Also, practicing out loud is so helpful because you're kind of training yourself to say this particular speech. And so it won't be the first time you say it in front of an audience. You've already said it before out loud, and your body's used to saying it, your mind's used to it, and so it's not as scary. Don't wait until you're in front of an audience to say your speech out loud for the first time. Also, be very, very familiar with your speaker notes. Be very, very familiar with your PowerPoint or whatever visual aid you're using. And then, once again, practice. Practice is your friend. Visualize your success. Think positive. Think about how this could be beneficial to your education and your future career if you know how to speak well in front of an audience. And so think of this in a positive view. Visualize yourself doing a good job instead of thinking about all the things that could go wrong. Think about how you would look giving a successful speech. Change the way you think about public speaking. Now, it's very easy to say these things, breathe and practice, visualize yourself giving a good speech. But you have to realize that adrenaline is a good thing. We need to stay on our toes. We need to be able to get through a speech, have the energy to get through a speech, and do a good job with it. So we're not actually trying to get rid of the nervousness. We just want to be able to control it so it doesn't control us. So keep that in mind. If you can get to a point in your public speaking career, and hopefully you do that this semester, where you can control the nerves instead of them controlling you, that's a good thing. So I hope this little video has helped you think a little bit differently about controlling the nerves. There's a lot more information in the textbook, so do go back and read that. But when it comes to public speaking anxiety, you're not alone. Everybody probably experiences it, and there's things you can do to control it. Good luck, and let me know if you need any help. Thanks so much.